Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Tuesday, July 5th, 2022. And as you can hear in my voice again, I'm not feeling the best, feeling a little bit under the weather this week. We'll get through it together. Here are the games for Tuesday, July 5th. First up, we're going to see the San Diego Padres hosting the Seattle Mariners. Now, in the intro, I kept it pretty short, and I'm going to try to keep these game videos pretty short as well, just because it is a little bit tough to talk right now. My throat's in a good amount of pain, a little bit stuffy as well, so I'm going to keep these game videos short. For this one, I do like the Padres. I think Logan Gilbert does have an issue with the home run ball, and the Padres have been hitting right-handed pitching very well as of late. When you look at Gilbert's last two starts going up against the Angels and Athletics, two lineups that have struggled pretty much down the stretch, Gilbert went 11 2/3 innings, giving up 7 earned runs and 4 home runs in that stretch. I like San Diego to get to him. Clevenger's pitched pretty well. Give me the Padres on the money line. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Miami Marlins. Noah Syndergaard and Sandy Alcantara on the mound for this one. To me, this is a lopsided pitching matchup. Noah Syndergaard is not pitching the way we saw him in New York with the Mets. He's more of a pitch-to-contact guy. He's relying on his ground ball outs, not striking out a ton of batters. While Sandy Alcantara has been one of the more efficient starters in the National League this season, the Marlins have hit right-handed pitching very well, and I do like their matchup here with Syndergaard at home. I like the Marlins here on the money line. In our next game, we see the New York Mets taking on the Cincinnati Reds. We're going to see Max Scherzer and Nick Lodolo as your projected starters. It's going to be the first start in quite a while for Max Scherzer. He was put on the injured list a few weeks back. This is a big step in the right direction for this Mets team that didn't have the best June, but getting Scherzer back, and DeGrom's already starting his rehab starts as well. Really positive signs to see for this Mets rotation. To me, if this was a younger pitcher making his first start in a while, I may be a little bit worried about Scherzer's performance here. But Scherzer's a veteran. He's been there, done that. He's returned from injury before and pitched very well. I don't think he'll skip a beat in this spot. I'm going to take the New York Mets and lay the run line. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jameson Taillon and Jose Quintana are your projected starters here. Now, this is a huge price to lay with Jameson Taillon on the road, in my opinion, facing his former club here. But, the Yankees have hit left-handed pitching very, very well. They're facing a lefty in Jose Quintana that I don't really trust. I do think the Pirates' bats can get to Taillon as well in this spot, though. So instead of taking the Yankees or even thinking about taking the underdog, I'm just going to take the over here. I think this total is a little bit low. I think this total should be somewhere around 9.5. So give me the over and the Yankees-Pirates. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Spencer Howard and Austin Voth are your starters. Now, this is going to be Spencer Howard's first action in the major league since April 29th, and I don't really like the spot for him or this Rangers bullpen. The Orioles have been super profitable, especially at Camden Yards, where they do have an above 500 record of 19-17 this season at home. I like the Orioles here to keep winning at home. The Rangers, I liked them on Monday. They had a big lead. They blew it in the end. It just goes to show you, I don't really trust this Rangers bullpen. The Orioles are playing well at home. Give me Baltimore or on the money line. Next up, we see the Washington Nationals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Paolo Espino is listed for the Nationals. No official starter listed for the Phillies quite yet. But seeing Espino on the mound is enough for me to take a shot with the Phillies here. Espino 2.8 ERA, but I think there's a lot of regression to worry about in his game, as his xFIP is above 4 right now. And when you look at the Philadelphia Phillies, even without Bryce Harper in the lineup, their offense has been pretty solid against right-handed pitching. This is a big series for Philadelphia. There are a few games over 500 right now, but going up against a team that's struggling in the Washington Nationals, this is a series you have to win and perhaps even have to sweep. I like the Phillies in Game 1 on the money line. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Detroit Tigers. Cal Quantrill going up against undecided for the Tigers. We don't have an official starter listed. Now, these two teams played in a doubleheader on Monday, and the Guardians now played in 2 doubleheaders in the last week, so they have played a lot of baseball as of late. But I do like the Guardians in this spot with Quantrill on the mound. Tigers haven't been very good against right-handed pitching. Even though Cal Quantrill may not be my favorite type of starter, as he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, he's more of a pitch-to-contact guy, I still think he's pitching well enough here to keep the Guardians in this game. He's faced some tough lineups as of late, the Twins, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. He's not facing one of those lineups here. He's facing the Detroit Tigers, And, the Detroit Tigers against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days, in terms of team OPS, Detroit is ranked dead last, 30th in team OPS. Isolated power, the same thing, dead last, 30th place. So give me the Cleveland Guardians here on the money line. Next up, we have an AL East rivalry between the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. This is going to be a nationally televised game on TBS at 7:10 Eastern. Now, to me, even though we see the starting pitching matchup, I would say is more beneficial towards the Tampa Bay Rays, Jeffrey Springs going up against Nick Pivetta, I still don't trust this Rays lineup, especially against right-handed pitching. Against lefties, the Rays have been formidable offensively. They've actually had a really good numbers lately against lefties, but against those right-handed pitchers, just hasn't been the same. Jeffrey Springs' xFIP is above 3 right now, so there is a little regression to worry about in his game. I think the Red Sox lineup is just a lot better right now, and we saw that in the first game of this series. Give me the Boston Red Sox, and I'm going to lean towards the over as well in this one. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Atlanta Braves. We're going to see Andre Pallante and Ian Anderson as your starters. Now, the Braves are big-time favorites here, and I can understand why, as I do think that this matchup, in the end, will benefit the Braves, as I do believe they have the better lineup and bullpen. But there is just no way I can lay this kind of price with Ian Anderson on the mound. We saw Anderson last time out in Philadelphia get absolutely shelled. 2 innings, 7 earned runs against the Phillies. It was ugly from start to finish in that one, a blowout 14-4 loss. I'm going to take the over here. I think both lineups are strong. I think both starting pitchers are guys that I want to fade right now. Pallante especially, because his ERA is at 2.1, but I don't think it's going to last for much longer. Only 33 Ks in 55 2/3 innings. He's had issues with the walks at times this season. I think the Braves get to him here. Give me the over in the Cardinals-Braves. I'll lean towards the Braves on the money line as well. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Kyle Hendricks and Jason Alexander are your starters for this contest. Now, similar to the last play I made, I'm going to take the over in this particular matchup. I just don't really trust either starting pitching option. Jason Alexander, we're starting to see the regression from him. 3.82 ERA now after he had the first few starts. His ERA was below 2. Last time out against the Pirates, he only went 2 innings, giving up 2 earned runs and a home run. That was not a start. That was out of the bullpen. His actually last 2 outings have been out of the bullpen. This is going to be his first start since June 23rd, where he really struggled against the Cardinals. 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, a homer, 2 walks allowed. Chicago Cubs, they were competitive in the game on Monday. I think their bats show up in the game on Tuesday as well. But Kyle Hendricks, not a guy I can back here, especially when you look at Milwaukee's lineup against right-handed pitching this season. Kyle Hendricks has struggled on the road this year as well, including a couple starts against these Brewers. Give me the over in the Cubs-Brewers. Next up, we see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Houston Astros. Zach Greinke and Luis Garcia are your starters for this one. Now, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but seeing Zach Greinke on the mound definitely lifts my spirits a bit. I'm going to take the Houston Astros and lay the run line here. Greinke facing his former team, so he may want to put on a show, but I just can't trust his style of pitching right now. I do think it's passed him by. Look, 32 strikeouts and 63 2/3 innings. Not going to get it done. And sure, he's had success in his last 2 outings, but who are the lineups he's faced? The Rangers and the Athletics. Now you're facing a Houston Astros lineup that's been money against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days. Ranked 4th in isolated power against righties. Ranked 4th in team OPS against righties. Give me the Houston Astros to bounce back. Lay the run line -1.5. Next up, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the Chicago White Sox. Chris Archer and Michael Kopech are your starters for this one. Now, you see 2 starting pitchers with pretty good ERAs. Chris Archer, 3.08. Michael Kopech, 2.78. Then why is this total set so high in this game? I think it's for good reason. I like the over here. We know both of these lineups can do some damage, mostly the Twins against right-handed pitching, where they've been money. Team OPS, 3rd in the last 30 days. Isolated power, 3rd in the last 30 days. Michael Kopech's a guy that will only have success, in my opinion, if he's missing bats. He's more of a strikeout-dependent pitcher. And this year, his strikeout numbers are a little bit down. And I'm a little surprised to see that. Only 63 Ks and 68 innings of work. We've seen him struggle the most when he's not earning those strikeouts. And his last 3 outings, he's given up at least 3 earned runs, given up at least 1 home run in 2 of those 3 outings as well. He's faced the Astros, Orioles, and Angels in that stretch. I like the Twins' offense to get going here, but Chris Archer's another guy that I am watching to regress as the season continues. He's only got 47 Ks and 61 in the third innings this season. He's faced a pretty weak matchups in his last 4 outings: Guardians, Rockies, Diamondbacks, and Mariners. Now you're facing a White Sox team that's improving their numbers offensively against those right-handed pitchers in the last 30 days. I like the over in this game. We know both of these bullpens are susceptible to giving up some runs, especially the Minnesota Twins. Give me the over in this one. Next up, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, we don't have an official lineup for this game as the Diamondbacks have not announced a starter, but we should see Alex Wood on the mound for this contest. And Alex Wood, I think, is one of the unluckier starting pitchers in the league this season. His ERA is above 5, but his xFIP is below 4. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement in his game. Against left-handed pitching in the last 30 days, the Arizona Diamondbacks haven't had the best numbers. Power-wise, they've been fine, but team OPS-wise, outside the top 15. I think this is a good start for Alex Wood. I think he pitches well enough to give his team a chance. And if the Diamondbacks decide to go with a bullpen game, I don't like their chances. I don't think this Diamondbacks bullpen is very good at all. Give me the San Francisco Giants here on the money line. Next up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Oakland Athletics. Yusei Kikuchi and Adrian Martinez are your starters for this contest. Now, man, Yusei Kikuchi minus 170 plus in this spot. Crazy to think of. I mean, to me, this is a type of game where I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to look otherwise. There's not a ton of value in this game overall, but if I was forced to take a side, I'd have to take the Blue Jays just because I just can't trust Adrian Martinez, and I can't trust this Oakland A's lineup at all. You look against left-handed pitching in the last 30 days, Oakland dead last in team OPS, 29th in isolated power. Kikuchi is coming off a decent start against the Tampa Bay Rays, so maybe he goes out and performs well again in this spot. Oakland A's lineup has been so bad against lefties, I just can't think otherwise. And Adrian Martinez, we saw in his second start in the big leagues this season, giving up 7 earned runs against the Seattle Mariners, 2 home runs as well in that outing. The Blue Jays have been money against both righties and lefties offensively as of late. Give me the Toronto Blue Jays laying the 1.5 runs, but it's not easy to do so. Kikuchi on the mound. In our final game of the night, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. I want to thank you for bearing with me for this video today. I know my voice is not the easiest to listen to today. Hopefully, I get a little bit better as the days continue. I want to thank you for your continuous support this season, watching these rundown videos. But in this particular matchup, I think the Dodgers are the play, but I also do want to focus in here on the Rockies team total. I like the under here. The Rockies have really struggled offensively against right-handed pitching on the road this year. It's been something I've kind of locked in on this season, especially. The Rockies have hit lefties basically on the road and at home this season, but against right-handed pitching, they have struggled at Coors Field, but even more so on the road. And Mitch White, I think he's a solid option in this Dodgers rotation for the time being. You know, they've had some injuries the Dodgers have in that starting rotation, and then you had Trevor Bauer kind of in and out of the rumor mill. Is he going to come back? Is he not? That's not going to be the case this season. So Mitch White, you know, coming out last outing, 4 2/3 innings, 1 earned run against the Padres. Dodgers win 3-1. Very solid outing for him. I think he's pitched well enough to keep his spot in the major league level, and I don't think the Rockies do much offensively here. When White exits the ball game, which will probably be about 4 or 5 innings of work, I think the Dodgers bullpen can shut down Colorado as well. So give me the under in the Colorado Rockies team total. And that's it. Those are the games for Tuesday, July 5th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.